Candace, I just thought I would come give you another one of my oops uh, special repairs. This is a oops die miscut pocket. So here we go. Whenever you're doing a die cut, sometimes you have to sacrifice one to get a good cut. So this is what we're going to make. So what I mean by that is when you're putting your die, let me move all my stuff. When you're putting your die in and it's real detailed, I've got a mess going on over here and I got to clean. But this has a lot of little intricate lattice design in here. So if you're cutting on your cutting board, sometimes you have to put two pieces of paper on there in order to get a good die cut. Now I haven't poked all these things out, but as you can tell, I mean, they're all going to fall out when I get ready to use them, but I'm just saving. So this is the back of it, which it doesn't cut all the way through. I don't know if you can see, whoops, that. It doesn't cut all the way through, but it still has the indentions on the front. So, you know me, instead of throwing this out, I decided I was going to make a pocket out of it. So, what we're going to be using today are these. We've got TaylorMade journals, her antique shabby chic wallpaper, My Porch Prints. We're still using her prayer journal, the Faith Journal words. Bleh. Artie Mae still got her little butterfly freebie. I love that thing. I love those colors. Tim Holtz stamp, the ledger script. And then we're using Nouveau Drops, Glossy Accents, some Jelly Rolls, and the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen to give it some extra oomph on the end. So let's start with our paper. So what I did, put this aside, this is the TaylorMade journals for antique shabby chic wallpaper, and I printed it. I hope this doesn't get you dizzy. This is some kind of argyle. It's listed underneath Alice backgrounds because I was going to do an Alice in Wonderland thing for my daughter and just never did it. So, but I wanted to have this, so when I flip it over, I have two different designs, and I printed it on 65-pound cardstock, which I got that from Michaels. It's Recollection. So let's cut this at 5 inches because I want my pocket to be 5 inches. So let's cut this at 5 inches. And then we're going to trim the little white part off at the bottom and at the top. So this is what we have, and I want this part to show, so I'm going to use my little scoreboard. But if you don't have one, oh shoot, see, now I got to trim down the side because I wasn't paying attention. So it's not going to be quite 5 inches. Oh, see? Never a dull minute. But it's still going to fill my page up. So this is what I want on top. So we're going to flip it over and score the back, because remember, valleys become mountains. So let's score it at 2 1/8 because I want my pocket to be 2 inches. And if you don't have a scoreboard, just measure, mark it, and fold it up with your on your board with a ruler. And then let's just mush this down a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and ink it. And if you want a thumb hole punch right here, go ahead and put this in. Now's the time. Oh, and I did punch my corners. I rounded my corners because I didn't want it to be so sharp up top. So I rounded my corners. I don't know about you guys if you have a crocodile, but the third time I opened this, it broke, so my thingy doesn't catch any stuff. And most of the time when I cut, my little parts fall out on the table. But another one of those love-hate tools that we spend money on. Okay, enough whining. So let's ink around here. And then we're going to go ahead. Let me put this up before I lose it. let's go ahead and glue our sides down. Try not to get it in my ink. So we're going to glue our sides down. Do a little swipey. Ask me how I know how to swipe. Because I sure know how to use those credit cards. Ask my husband. Shh. Alright, and then we're going to ink down the sides here. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and stick our butterfly. So this is our butterfly from the Arnie Maze. And what I did, this one is the regular one, not the fit to size, because when you do the fit to size, it shrinks it down just a hair. So if you're looking to have close butterflies, or even if you want to layer, you know, this one and then put another one on top of it, if you do your, this is the fit to size, it gives me like 1 1/8 inch border. It makes it just a little bit smaller. And then this is the regular one that's not fit to size, so it's got like a 7/8 of an inch border, so it makes it just a hair. So if you wanted to layer one on top of each other like that, then you can, it'd be just a little bit smaller to give you a little dimensional butterfly. So we're going to stick that on here on our pocket. I know I'm quiet. I'm thinking. Gotta make sure I get all the little spots on here. And then I want to stick him kind of about right there. And then the words I chose off of the TaylorMade journals, we're still using her gosh, faith journal words. Y'all, you know, you think I'd get better at this as I go. Nope. I'm thinking I'm getting a little bit worse. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. So I chose My Refuge, My Strength. I just thought that sounded really good for someone who has who's gonna get a faith journal, because, you know, God is your refuge and God is your strength. I'm learning that. And for those of you, you know, who not into the faith journal and stuff, I do have a bonus at the end to show you how I made something similar, but not faith related. Alright, and then I'm going to take these and I'm going to glue them. I just want to put a little bit on some black cardstock just so to help raise it up just a little bit. So we're going to stick him on here. Everybody say duh. Alright. I just want a hair of the black to show around. And then, oh gosh. I just want to let y'all know, I came down here with shoes on. I kicked them off, and I can't find them. They're not on my feet. They're not under my craft table. They're not in the other room where my desk is. Oh, you know what? I left them in the other room behind me sewing on something. So, sure wish somebody could remind me that's where my stinking shoes are, because I was looking for them. Anyway, I told you, it's just been one of those days. It's just been a crazy, sad day. Oh, good grief. Alright, so let's just trim around here just a hair. And I'm throwing, I've got to take a day. I know, I've taken many days apparently lately trying to organize and clean, but this desk has just gotten a little ridiculous. I have got to clean it off. My husband put some shelves together that's been sitting here for, oh, about 6 months in a box. He put them together for me yesterday and today, so now I get to work my junk that's all around me into the shelves so I can actually walk without breaking my neck. Maybe I'll find my shoes if I have everything up in the shelf where they go. Oh, just make sure. Okay. So now we're going to glue My Refuge and My Strength on there. I just kind of want it at a little side step. I don't want it perfectly straight on here. So we're going to put My Refuge, and then gotta make sure I'm going to leave enough room to sew around there. But as you can tell, these don't have to be sewed. They're just as pretty not sewn. In My Strength. Okay. And then let's just go ahead so we can set this aside to let it glue. I always do that because I can feel the glue on my fingers, and it kind of drives me a little bit crazy. So if you wonder, oh, what's she doing? Oh, money, money, money. I'm thinking money. No, I'm getting glue off my fingers. Okay. So now I'm going to use my 2 Jelly Roll pens. This one is my regular iridescent. This one I call it kind of a copper iridescent because it's kind of coppery, but it's number XP, good grief, I think it's a G, B as in boy, number 705. I sure wish they'd write names on these things. And then this iridescent's the regular one. They sell these at Hobby Lobby and stuff, but I got these online at Amazon. This is XPGB number 700, and that's just the regular iridescent. So we're going to color our little butterfly's body, because I got a thing with this little bling and sparkle. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to put 4 of these little copper orangey dots, just because it pulls in the orange from his little, it might be her little wings. So we put that on there, and then we're going to use our glossy accent and go ahead and put its body on so we can set it aside so it can dry. And then I'm using the Nuvo drops, and this one is the Neptune Turquoise. And so we're going to put, you know, when you put these dots on here, remember you need to give yourself 1/4 of an inch for your seam allowance for when you're putting your sewing. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Alright, and then we're going to beat it on the table. Shake it down, shake it down. Without sticking your fingers in it. So, that's our basic pocket, and then like I said, we're going to sew around it. So let me set this aside so it can dry. Oops, I should have put my glossy accents on last, because when I beat it, that shook down too. So let me put it in the back so it can dry, and then we're going to work on our tag. So this is what the pocket's going to look like after it's all dry, and then we sewed around it. So now we're going to work on the journal card. So I have a piece of cardstock that's 65 pound. It's the cream color Recollection, and I cut it 4 by 5.5. And then this is a piece of coffee dye paper. I just went ahead and cut it down too, so I would have it. And then we're going to stamp this using our Tim Holtz. This is the stamp from Tim Holtz. It's the Ledger script, C as in cat, M as in monkey, S as in Sam, 241. Yes, guess what I did for a living beforehand? Things with names and letters. So I always spell out words and names. So we're using this big one, which looks like this. And then I'm going to ink it up with, whoops, my Distress ink, because I want to stay with the browns and kind of neutral colors for it. Alright, now let me stand up real quick so I can put a little extra weight on here. And we're going to stamp it down. And I got to move up a little bit. Oh! Hopefully I didn't just mess my thing up. Alright, so let's just push it down a little bit. And, you know, this is that real thin, it's like 1/32 of an inch of craft foam that I got at the Dollar Tree in a pack of like, I don't know, 25 maybe. They're all different colors. But I'm just using the blue. But it gives it just enough backing to give a little bit of relief when you're stamping with your stamps. So that's that. And since it's a little wet, let me go ahead and use my little paper down here so I don't get it everywhere. Oh. And then put some tack 'em on. And then some glue, because you know I like to have 2 steps. I can't just do everything in 1 step. I got to have 2 steps. Alright, and then we're going to stick it on here. And smoosh it down, and then I'm going to set it aside and let it dry underneath my block. I have one that I did right before here. Oops, make sure I'm in here. But let's make sure we get all the air bubbles and make it flat. So let me put it underneath here and grab the one that's already done. Okay, so this one's already done. As you can tell, didn't measure right, so let me cut a little bit of it off. So this one might be just a hair different. Alright, and then I want to, well, that doesn't look straight. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then let's go ahead and cut your corners, because if you don't cut your corners first and you put the tab on top, you can't cut up here. Ask me how I know that one. Yep, you'll see it on the butterfly one. I forgot to do my corners before I put my tab on. So let's go ahead and ink around here. And on this one I kind of, you know, did a little deep sloppy ink because I want to have some of my background not so cream colored. I want it more distress color. And let's get the back. I might need to have to re-ink my little pad. I'm telling you, I think they put evaporating alcohol in this stuff or something, rubbing alcohol, so it just evaporates in the air, because I agree. You know, Gail made a comment about her vintage photo ink doesn't last, but all her other ones are juicy. That's for real, because I'm telling you, they got the market on this thing, and they make sure that you can't use it all. Alright. Obviously, I'm going to roll of Wham-Whams today. So I'm going to use the tab from, this is my porch print. I'm still with her her prayer journal, but this is the strip. Oops. Gosh. This is the strip that I'm using for a few things in here. So, I lost them. Oh, I had it ready. Sorry. So I just took this, the rose one, which was this on here, and I took my 1 1/4 punch and I punched on here to get my circle, and then I punched it again on a 110-pound brown cardstock. But if you don't have that thick, just punch a couple of layers, 2 or 3, depending on how high you want it to be raised on your thing. And if you're wondering what's up with these flowers, that's on another deal that we're going to do on another pocket that I'm hoping we'll do tomorrow. So I punched that up, glued it, and then I inked all around the sides. And then this is the little tab. And I have better luck going ahead and folding it in half. And then I'm going to cut it out while it's together, so that way I have the mirror image, because if you open it up and cut it this way, you're not going to cut the same on both sides, and then your little tabby never, well, at least mine, never seemed to line up. So let's just fold it and then cut around here, and then I kind of do a little curve on the edge because I don't like that hard edge. And then we'll do this one. And then the same thing with down here. I go ahead and stick it in my corner rounder just to give me a little more of a rounded bottom edge instead of the harsh square corners. And then we'll ink around it. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and glue it on the top because it's going to be a top tab. So we're going to glue it on the top. Oh, and usually, let me see if I can do it real quick. Just so I can make sure I get things even, because I have a little even problem. I always take my little thing, measure it, so I know where I'm supposed to be putting the middle of my tab, so I have a shot at possibly getting it in the middle-ish. And then kind of glue it on there. I wanted it half and half, my space at the top and bottom, so we'll kind of mush that down a little bit. And then I'm going to use, this is part of the prayer journal, I'm going to tear out this butterfly, which is supposed to be an envelope, but I rarely use things as people design them to be. I know. I have issues. I'm a rebel like that, you know. So I just find it easier if I cut it out so I don't have such a big thing to hold to do. And I want to kind of tear around this butterfly and this one, and I want this top part. So let's tear around there and kind of follow that little scroll and around the wing down to the bottom butterfly and around. And then want to make sure that I get around this little fancy scroll on top, because that's kind of like my included label. And then we're going to ink around it. I'm scooching back. Alright. And then let's glue it on to our journal card. We still haven't gotten any rain, everybody. Everybody else has. Not us. No. But we need it. So it would be nice if we could have some. But not a monsoon, you know. But just some nice rain. So I want to line this up. These are going to be kind of wonky. But I want my top little label, my faux label, to be straight. Because in case you want to write in there. There you go. Alright, now this is my miscut, my spare, my backer of the die, because if anybody knows, once you do this and then you try to line your die back up, put it back underneath there to get it to cut again, you just ruin all this. So it's best just to come up with something to do with it if you don't want to throw it in the trash. So now we're just going to ink all around it just so to help stand out a little bit. Alright, and then we're going to glue it down. Oops, I didn't cut this other butterfly. You're going to have to watch me fussy cut a butterfly. I'm bad. Sorry, y'all. It won't take me long. Close your eyes. Count to 20. I should be done. But not yet. I'm not ready yet. Alright, but I am making sure I'm getting glue on the back just in case one of my little parts that's not completely punched out the sides, that it wants to jump out and be cut out. Because you know that happens a lot too. Alright, so I'm going to put this down here. I know you can't see this butterfly, but I want to see the little bottom one and know that there's one behind there. So we're going to put it on there. Oh, I should have looked before. Yep, alright. Swipe at the back. Alright, and now we're going to put this little rose, this double rose that we had put on a 1 1/4 circle and backed it with some cardstock so we can raise it up a little bit so it's not just so flat on here. We're going to stick that in the middle of our cross just to give it a little more personality. Alright. And let me mush it down a little bit. Okay. Let me set a block on it for a minute while we cut this other little butterfly out that I forgot to cut. Oh, jeez, y'all. See? I was trying to be kind and be prepared, but, oop, wrong one. I still got to get the other one. Oh. Okay, I want my fit to size. Alright, so if you don't want to watch, close your eyes. Take a little, let me see. What does my husband say? Oh, I'm just watching the inside of my eyes. So, you know, he's got to check the inside of his eyelids every now and then. So just kind of make sure your eyelids are there if you, you know, close them and see. Oops, I'm really bad about cutting up close. It's not like I can't see, but I just pull it to me, which I find that it messes in the camera. Sorry. Like I said, all these little newbie mistakes. Okay, and let's just cut him real quick. Alright. A little block off. Alright, and then we're going to ink around him. Tomorrow I'll have stories. I'm going to make myself have stories. I don't know. It's hard to tell stories when you're trying to think and do some detailed stuff. Alright. And then we're going to put him this way. And then I want to come in with the same little copper pin and put the 4 little dots on each bottom of his wing, just so it pulls down his little copper. And on the other one, I forgot to show you, I put his little eyeballs. He had eyeballs, so I put some little eyeballs on there. And then we're going to put some more iridescent on there. And then use our glossy accents. Make his little body stand out. And on these, I went ahead, I drew their antennas on here. I didn't do it on my other one, but I did it on these. So I just use my little medium tip micron pen, number 03. Alright, and then I'm going to take my Spectrum Noir, a shimmer pen, and I just brushed on the top of these roses just to give them some extra glimmer and shimmer. Well, come on. See, I'm going to get too much out in a minute. It's going to go everywhere. Alright. So let's see if you can see that shimmer. Oh, you see it? There you go. Ooh, yeah, shim shim, shim shim cherie. Isn't that from Mary Poppins? Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside, let it dry with my other ones. It'll be ready tomorrow. And then I'm going to show you, again, the finished pocket. So this is our finished pocket. And this is our big journal card that goes into the pocket. And then let me get a journal out and show you what it will look like on a page, if I can find a blank page. Okay, we're just going to fake it with this one. So, you glue it on your page, and you glue it down. You can have a pocket in the back, or you can glue it on these 3 sides and have a side tuck. And that's that one. Now let me show you the bonus one that I did. So we'll put that in that bucket. And then this is one that I did that is the butterfly one. So it's the same exact thing. We made the pocket, you know, we printed double-sided on the paper. We folded it up. It's about 2 1/8 of an inch here. It makes your pocket, total pocket, 6 1/4. But you make it whatever size you want. But that's just what was left of my paper. I didn't want to waste any. And then I used, you know, some more Artie Mays butterfly again. And then, oops, glossy accents. I put the copper, and I didn't draw the antennae on here because I just wanted it to be different. And then this number label is from, I didn't write that on my little piece of paper, sorry. This is from Gifts and Things WL, and it is her or their distress numbers, tickets, labels, and more. So that's where I got that label from. And then this is my butterfly card, and it is dimensional. I didn't glue it all down, but feel free to glue it down if you want. And then this little butterfly is an offcut from that double butterfly that we did, and this is an offcut from it also. And then this is one of a smaller one that I just cut on some paper and then glued some rhinestones on it, put some glossy accents around the wings just to kind of give it a little bit of oomph. Some coffee dye on the back, and then when you put it in here, I just put it in and made this little bottom of the butterfly wing kind of, ooh, I'm going all over the place, kind of poke out on this card just so you know it's not glued down. But if you want to glue it down so you don't have any problems, you know, you might be better off. And then, as I said, you cut your corners before you put the tab on, because you can't get that into your little crocodile if you don't do it first, because your little taggy's in the way. So there you go. I hope you like that. Let me get my other one so you can see them both together. And these are our two. This is our faith inspired one and just our nature butterfly inspired one. So have some fun with your oopses and your offcuts and your dies and just little things laying around, or other just cardstock parts and pieces that you get from the store, and make you a little or a large pocket and then a large journal card, and have some fun. Like I said, think outside the box. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope it didn't rattle too much in my sewing room, since I remembered where they were. Yeah, I know it's sad. You know, you moved me from the city out into the woods, and I'm just barefoot running around the house. So y'all have a blessed day, and I hope you come back. And thanks for watching. Bye, guys.